Whatever hope is yours was my life also. Wilfred Owen, Strange Meaning. So, my name is Christian Johnny Daryanani, and today I'm gonna present my course summative for ENG4U. So this is my last assignment basically, so so let's get to it. So basically relating this with the war, so both of these stories, the wars and Strange Meaning, they both deal with the psychological trauma faced by these soldiers after and during the war. So that's how they're obviously connected, as they're both set in World War I as well. So I'll give you a brief explanation for Strange Meaning. So Strange Meaning was written during the First World War, and it centers on the experiences of Owen as a soldier in the war. It is basically about a soldier who descends to hell and meets a soldier from the opposing side who was killed by him. And about the wars is also set during the First World War, and it follows Robert Wash's experiences during the war. In the novel, Robert basically struggles to overcome his psychological trauma and his struggles during his personal life with toxic women in his life, and his mom being, should say, a bit crooked, and his lovers being abusive to him. So he has to juggle all this. Basically, he has to juggle all these things at one time. And before, it was an obligation to go to war, so these soldiers, they had no control over it. Basically, if they didn't go to war, it would be a bit embarrassing maybe, because they wouldn't seem as manly as it was a norm for men to fight in the war. So literary devices used in Strange Meaning by Wilfred Owen. Imagery is used and can be seen through the line down some profound dull tunnel, and this basically represents the psychological mind of the soldier, as it instills a feeling of melancholy for the readers, making them feel like hopeless and sad basically. So another example of a literary device used in the poem is through irony, as in one line you can see that the opposing soldier actually forgives the protagonist for killing him, and they form this sort of brotherhood. And this is actually ironic, as they fought each other in the war, and they tried to kill each other before, but in death they found peace instead, while in life all they found was destruction. So the use of hyperbole is also evident in this poem, as it can be seen through the line Titanic wars had groined, which basically adds further drama to the poem. So poetic devices. An example of a poetic device in the poem is assonance and consonance, and this can be seen through the line groaned and slept. So Owen uses the repetition of vowel and consonant sounds to highlight the feeling of misery basically. Another poetic device used is symbolism, due to the tunnel in the poem symbolizing the path of the afterlife, representing the psychological aftermath on soldiers. Personification is also in use in this poem during the line the pity of war, the war is still. So basically this line gives human characteristics to the war basically, so it uses personification. So some themes in Strange Meaning. One of the themes in Strange Meaning is pointlessness of war, which is obviously seen as the soldiers in Strange Meaning resent war, and they hate war. They feel traumatized by it, so they feel it's pointless because they feel like they're just pawns of the higher power basically. Another theme portrayed in this poem is brotherhood, which can be seen through the bonding of both soldiers in the poem Strange Meaning by Wilfred Owen. Trauma and regret is also another theme represented in the poem, as both the soldiers deal with traumatic experiences, and they both regret their lives, as they feel like just used to fight, just to murder people and be murdered themselves. So it's basically a tragic life. So literary theories in Strange Meaning. So Strengths meeting uses the psychoanalytic theory as it delves into the unconscious mind of the soldier, and his guilt can be connected to the Freudian theory, as this can be seen as it deals with the mental state rather than the physical state. So obviously it's related to psychoanalytic theory. Another literary theory connected to this poem is Marxism, which can be seen through the soldiers' resentment to higher power, as they resent society and the higher power and the system, basically the overall system of war. They hate it. They find it pointless and useless, and basically it's a tragic system for them. So a connection between strengths meeting and the wars. So both strengths meeting and the wars, of course, are connected, as they both deal with the theme pointlessness of wars. Both soldiers basically don't find the use of war, and they feel like they're just being used up, basically. Another theme that connects these two is the psychological trauma that both the soldiers faces. The soldiers, they all get traumatized after the war, and it's a tragic life for them. So both these literary works do a fantastic job in showing this through various examples during the war. For example, Wilfred Owen's soldier obviously resents it, as he finds peace in death, and he bonds with this opposing soldier, even though they're supposed to hate each other actually in real life, and they could never find peace in real life. So both these deal with psychological trauma faced in war. So both of these works are tragic and sad. None of them have like a happy ending, or they're very realistic. They're very down to earth, basically. So in conclusion, to analyzing both strengths meeting and the wars, it gives us a clearer understanding of the war and its psychological impacts on the soldier. And both of these works are amazing. They manage to create a lasting impact on the minds of the readers, as those who read these poems will forever view the war differently, as before many people might think the war is some act of nobility, but these works, they show the war as realistically as possible. They show the brutal side of the war and the effects it has on the soldiers, the negative effects especially. So yeah, basically that's my conclusion of this presentation. So I'd really like to thank you for listening to this presentation, and hopefully you have a great day.